Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, March 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, FRC, continues to be very dramatic, all sorts of volume and all that, so want to keep a close eye on it. And overall, assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, a good, healthy day. How so? Well, it put in a higher high and a higher low, and that's going to be very key. So the first update that I want to do is just making an adjustment of this resistance. And the question becomes, well, what direction is this adjustment being made? And with the new data here, you can see that the new level of resistance seems to be right up here at that level of $51. You can see several times here, right there, price got rejected. And then after that, price just cruised right below it, but can never quite push through it before this bit of a pullback right here. So 51 going to be the newest area of resistance, which again is a good thing because it's higher than that former area of resistance. In terms of the pullback, yeah, not the most pleasant thing, especially if you're a day trader and you're buying up around here and wanting that breakout, then yes, at this point, I'm assuming you already got stopped out. But if you do care about the bigger point of view, then again, I am going to go ahead and adjust this level up here, which you can see the green line is now being moved higher to that $30 mark. So in other words, even if the price were to come down there and find some buyers, what would you still have from a bigger picture point of view? You'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows down there. And if you envision those as stair steps, you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So that's why I say that, yeah, today was overall healthy, put in higher bases, put in a higher high. So we'll see if this pullback here is just a temporary one before it gets, back up to the upside. So the next couple of days certainly going to be interesting. Next one here, PACW, another of these bank stocks, and same general idea as what we just talked about. So I don't want to repeat myself too much, but you can see put in higher highs and higher lows. So an important level of support now, I would say moving forward, right down there at the $10 mark, because what you don't want to see is this, price making a great move up, and then all of a sudden the price coming back down there right to where it started, not to insult your intelligence, but that would not be an actual good looking chart. That would not be a bullish chart. That would just be what we would call a dead cat bounce. But if the price were to do something like this, where it does come down, because nothing can go straight up, but instead goes like this before turning back upwards, I'm sure you can see the difference. The difference being, well, now all of a sudden we have a set of lows here, and you correspond that with that low down there, and then going back to that talking point of progress, you would now officially have progress in the upwards direction. So that is why, from a support standpoint, $10, very important level. As far as levels of resistance are concerned, in my mind, pretty straightforward level now, and you got to think a lot of other people are noticing this level and have probably drawn this exact same trend line right like that. So if the price were to come up there and get a break up through it, even if you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, you got to think that some sort of break like that could very well create, upside buying pressure, which puts the breakout point right up there around the $17 mark. But like I said, all in all, put in a higher high, still has a chance of putting that higher low by staying up above $10. So let's see what happens over the next couple of days. Next one, AIMD, and this is a really solid one as it gives a couple well-defined levels. And the first key level that you got to think a lot of people are watching right up here around $1. Let me bring that down. $1.30. And that is important. And let me take a step back. I'm not trying to impress you by me putting that line. I'm not trying to imply that that's a secret discovery or anything like that. A lot of people are watching that level. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So guarantees, no, but is it valid to think that the price comes up there and again then gets the breakout of this sideways consolidation, that break could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So keep a close eye on $1.30. In terms of levels of support, you can see the bottom part of this consolidation area was down here right around the $1.15 mark. So keep an eye on that. But no doubt about it, nice sideways consolidation, which brings about the interesting question going into tomorrow. Can the bulls recover back up and get a push up through that area? We'll see what happens. Next one, AMC, and a very brutal day, not necessarily because it was so red, but when you look at the chart here, you can see that brutal day in the sense of it's essentially gone right back to where it was down here at these lows. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area or that green line down to those lows right there, which you can see right here from several weeks ago. And that puts, now to be fair and give some credit where credit's due, at least the price and the power of charts, you can see found some support, started to go sideways right at that green line, where it bottomed out before. Now, let me be very clear. I get it. Last time the price was down here, a huge move upwards. Does that guarantee another huge move upwards? Of course not. But is it at least valid? Is it at least plausible for you to build a trade plan saying, last time it was down here, a great solid move happened. So, maybe it happens here. So from a risk reward standpoint, assuming, of course, you're going to be disciplined, I can see where your rationale is at, and you just got to, manage risk because there's no guarantee that's going to bounce and repeat history. But even if it repeats history a quarter or half of what it did previously, relative to what's being risked, you're looking at a very interesting scenario. So keep in mind as that being the key level of support down there at $4.40. In terms of levels of resistance, just going to go ahead and adjust this down with the new key level being right here at $5.15. And then you're going to want to continue to monitor that purple line too, the 50-period moving average. But, that's a bit, out of not really too relevant right now. But because it's a moving average, it will move itself into being more relevant over time. But, yeah, overall, very rough day today. But from an overarching standpoint and a trade, perspective, like I said, for those dynamics discussed, a very interesting potential setup. Next one, MARA, and sort of a difficult chart to talk about because there's a lot of perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, or whatever you want to call yourself, and you're buying there or you're buying right there, or maybe you bought the dip right there and you wanted to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then, yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad because there's no doubt about it. There has been this pullback that's occurred basically throughout the course of the day. Now, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, part of being caring about the bigger picture would say, yeah, well, yes, the price did pull back, but what was happening before the pullback? And what was happening before the pullback was this big move up here, which has now allowed me to draw a bull flag pattern. So for those of you that do care about bigger picture points of view and you like bull flag patterns and you like stocks down below $10, that one fits all those criteria. So yes, depending on your standpoint, it may be a really bad looking chart, but if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, all you're looking at here is a potentially very healthy pullback, which is now allowed for a bull flag pattern. Real quickly, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free training. NEXTDOC APE, and overall crazy move. There must have been some sort of news that came out. And it's looking like the news didn't have too much of a long-lasting effect. Now, you can't say that with full certainty because it's not like the price has drifted back down to where it was before whatever happened occurred today. But, clearly you can see big move up, and now the price since then has slowly begun to drift itself downwards, which brings about at least the question in my mind, is the price headed back down to where it was? Because if the price all of a sudden is back essentially at that level, then clearly whatever caused this spike right here was maybe relevant for a little bit of time, but didn't have any sort of long-lasting relevancy, at least in the bullish direction, because obviously bullish moves don't drift right back to where they were beforehand. So that's going to be the main dynamic right now. But yeah, if you were to ask, does it seem like there was some sort of big bullish dynamic? Yeah, maybe for a 30 minutes worth of time, but after that, the price seemingly is continuing to drift lower and lower. But for you technical traders out there, potential interesting dynamic is a trend line right there. And, does the price pull back? So let me change this to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic. But does the price pull back here? If you can be disciplined, if you can honor stop loss and all that, then you could structure yourself a very interesting risk reward scenario. But of course, that does depend that this thing actually drifts down to that trend line. But yeah, as far as all the drama, yeah, seemingly not very bullish, dynamics that occurred today as the price, as of now, looks like it wants to drift right back to where it was. Next one, PLUG, same general idea, got the gap up. Now, from a technical point of view, it makes perfect sense why things got rejected. You can see came right up to that purple line there, 50-period moving average, and just got totally smacked back to the downside. But the good news is, at least, is now we're looking at a potential double bottom type pattern. Hasn't drifted down all the way here to 1165. But if this little upwards bounce here rolls back over, then it becomes very, very valid at that point to throw out the question of, okay, you have bottom number one. And could this be bottom number two? And if so, that would then put you in a potential double bottom bounce type situation, which, just to reiterate, nothing is guaranteed, but it's all about our job as traders to put ourselves in plausible, to put ourselves in logical situations. And it's logical to think that, well, it's bounced here before. Could it bounce again? So like I said, if you like to play potential double bottoms, then, that's a very interesting level down there at 1165. And as I started off, this one talking about the key level of resistance, it's all about that purple line there, 50-period moving average, which is current value there up around, let's just call it $12.60. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and some updates here need to be made. First I'm going to do is just get rid of a couple of these lines here as they've served their purpose for now and don't want to have clutter and confusion. But the first update is just based on a classic example or just rule on charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support, and that played out perfectly here. I mean, I'll turn into a quick plug, get signed up for that free class, because as you can see here, price broke above that area, so you'd expect it to act as support, pulled back, and oh, surprise, surprise, look right where it bounced off of, right there at 180. So in the very near term, that level of support to keep an eye on would be the $180 mark. If the price does pull back some more, then the next key level of support would be that purple line there, 50-period moving average. Right now, let's just call its value at 176.50. So again, support-wise, 180 and then 176.50. In terms of areas of resistance, new key level to watch. Let me squeeze this down here a bit more. But you got to think, and actually I'm curious, did this level get broken? Yeah, so actually the price is currently trying to break through that trend line right there, which is always a good sign. So it's looking like the next key level of resistance to keep a close eye on is going to be that level up there at the 186.50 mark. So if this bounce continues, 186.50, if the Tesla tries to have a really strong day and can get through 186.50, then at that point, you'd want to immediately turn your attention to that pink line there, 200-period moving average valued at 191.50. Next one, SCHW, another one of these that it's been getting caught up in all of that drama. And overall, good solid day, higher highs and higher lows. And we have, once again, just a perfect example of the power of charts. So as I said earlier, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So going into the day, this level right here at 54.75 was that area of resistance, but as the price gapped above it, at that point, you would want to see it act as support. And you can see right there, didn't hit it exactly, but close, acted as support. And then once again, didn't hit it exactly, but close, acted as support. So far, so good. That level would be the ideal level that you want to see hold strong. If the price does not hold above it, then as far as, kind of that area that would show signs of progress and higher lows, that would be down there at the $51 mark. So again, preferably speaking, stay above 54.75, but if that can't quite hold up, then I'd consider a much more important area of support right there at 51. In terms of levels of resistance, maybe you're going to know where I'm going to go with this. But yeah, all about that purple line now moving forward. You can see got somewhat close to it this afternoon. Never could quite push through it, but current value of that, we'll call it $59.50. But overall, from a bigger picture point of view, good solid day, putting a higher high, putting a higher low. So let's see if that can continue into Wednesday. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Big difference just being it allows you access at a much lower price point. And this is why I like to do these when the market's still open, because check out the last 30 minutes. Boom, big green candle. And as I speak, this candle is trying to push up even higher than where it is right now. So overall, no doubt about it, last 30 minutes here, good solid move here for the NASDAQ market and really the NASDAQ markets as a whole, which brings about a very valid question of, does this momentum carry into Wednesday? It's going to be very exciting to see if this all carries forward. But as far as levels are concerned, first key dynamic is all about that first update that I've said before. When levels of resistance are broken, closed above, you want to see them act as support. So preferably speaking, moving forward now, if the price can stay up above that 22.15 mark, that would definitely be a good solid sign of strength. Does it absolutely need to stay above there? If the price falls below it, does that mean the chart's destroyed? Absolutely not. But that is where this level down here at 21.35 comes into play, and is very, very important. So yes, preferably stay above that level up there. But if it doesn't hold, then the level down there becomes way more important. In terms of areas of resistance, two main levels. First being just the highs from today and where the party finally stopped, and which is getting within striking distance due to this last 30 minutes here. But that's up there at $22.90. So keep an eye on that. And then from more of an overarching level, let me squeeze this down. The next key level would be right up here around 23.75, which is coming from these highs, both here and here. But yeah, no doubt about it. Big, solid final 30 minutes. Does this momentum carry into Wednesday? And can it get pushed, pushing up through this level and maybe even do some battle with that level? We shall see. But no doubt about it, very exciting last 30 minutes here. So that wraps up the final 10 here. And before I go, like I said earlier, if you enjoyed what you saw and you want to learn more about charting and how to use it and build consistency with it, then definitely get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be in a couple days, Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Say what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things help out the channel. They're encouraging to me. And as long as I know people are enjoying, then I'll continue to put in the required time and effort to get this content out to you. So please hit that like button. Like I said, leave a comment below and get signed up for that free class. Everybody take care. Thanks for watching.